You know, woke people are truly just some of the worst new additions to gaming. It's right up there with broken games and DLC and all this nonsense. Been having some good time in the past few weeks. I took a poll and people said they wanted to see videos of Ori. So I've been playing Ori, gathering some footage so I could make some videos on that. Bought a new game, Shadow Gambit. Fun so far. And then I saw this article. This comes from Eurogamer, written by Liv Negan. Nexus mods remove anti-alphabet Baldur's Gate 3 mod part of a no alphabets pack. I assume it's Negan. Anyway, this mod, it changes a character, Dame Eileen, into a male and use AI to change the voice in order to not make her be in a woman as alphabet relationship. And apparently there are some other mod packs that remove all kind of alphabet from the game, and those were banned by Nexus. And this is the statement from Nexus. Side note, I had already boycotted Nexus after the Spider-Man 2, I think it was. So I've stopped using them for a long time though. And because of that, I've stopped playing Skyrim. Even before Bethesda did this new weird thing where you have paid mods, or they're bringing back paid mods and you break off the other mods, that doesn't affect me because I don't longer play Skyrim. And it's funny enough, this kind of goes back to what I said in a recent video where I said never be so attached to something you can't just simply walk away. So because I walked away from both Nexus mods and Skyrim, this whole nonsense with Skyrim doesn't affect me. And this Nexus being clearly biased doesn't affect me because I no longer use or interact with either of those. But getting back to the article. So Nexus said that the site supported its decision to remove the mod and Yedlike. Yedlike is the account that uploaded the mod, stating that it stands for inclusivity and diversity and will take action against anyone uploading mods which are against these values. So we have a right to choose what content we do and do not want to host on our platform. Fair enough. And you say it's true that they can do what they want on their platform. But guess what? As gamers, we need to understand that we also have a right to choose what products we buy. And too many people, which funny again, it ties back into another video I made about us being fans. Too many people feel compelled to buy a product either because they're fans or because the hype machine behind it, because all the other YouTubers and the friends say, oh, the game is the in thing, so let us buy it. No, you can choose what to spend your money on. You aren't beholden or entitled to spend money on things that you don't like or to support people who hate you. Now, the article and the news is one thing, but the comments, we're going to do something a little bit different here and go through some of the comments, because these comments make some stupid arguments, but it's some that I've heard over and over again. The very first one: miss me with the gender and sexuality of world NPCs match medieval status quo in a game with dragons, magic, and monsters. Also, there are plenty of alphabet people in medieval ages. Alright, there are so many things wrong with this. First of all, based on data for the past 4 or 5 generations, the number of alphabet people have been increasing, basically doubling every generation. So if you were to extrapolate this back into the medieval ages, no, there were not plenty. There were barely any. What this retard is doing is he's using 2023 data that says 1 in 5 people, young people, are alphabet, and saying, okay, we're going to do a time machine and put that data back in the medieval ages. No, that was not the case. Second, this is an argument that I always use, and it's one that they don't think out properly. The argument goes that basically, since alphabet people exist, like in real world, they should exist in the game. Alright, by you throwing temper tantrums right now, anti-alphabet people exist. Why shouldn't we be in the game? Maybe you might say, okay, alphabet is a sexual attraction and anti-alphabet is a thought process. Alright, so let's go back to sexual attraction. Pedophiles exist, incest exists, necrophilia exists, bestial. Well, but the game Baldur Gate actually tackles bestiality. So now the problem is, why do you allow alphabet and bestiality but not pedophilia and necrophilia? These things existed in medieval times. Now, arguably, you would have more pedophilic encounters than alphabet because they didn't have age of consent laws. So why is it that is only some sexualities that are okay? You bloody idiot. So going down, every time someone creates a mod like this, the original developer should make the game more alphabet. And this demonstrates just downright hatred, animosity, and bitterness and spitefulness of these people. And also why you should not support developers that put any amount of this nonsense in it, because you will not win. You're only giving them more and more room to take over the game or the franchise. So this now, if you notice, they only care about the message, and they want to deliberately make this just to antagonize people. You know, the people who they call hateful and non-inclusive and so on, we don't want to antagonize people, you know, because initially we had our games, we liked it. Those games didn't have something or have anything that would be offensive to the alphabet people. They were offended because they simply weren't included, and say, okay, we need to, and trying to force us, meaning normal people and the society at the time. It wasn't that we're doing something specifically to spite them, but when they gain a foothold, they want to spite people who don't support or agree with that. I've said before in a video that the people who tell you not to hate and want to bash you for being full of hatred themselves are the epitome of hateful, spiteful, weak-minded people. So going forward, or going down, I always get a chuckle out of the way that people who coin the term snowflakes turn out to be the most fragile, sensitive, and easily offended human beings on the planet. Imagine you have a house, and your wife invites somebody into the house, and the person changes something in your house, changes a picture frame, the orientation of the sofas or something, and you say, no, I don't like this change, and change it back. These retards will then look at you and say, oh, because you want to change things back to how they were before we entered and change your house, you're a snowflake. Gamers are paying customers, so it's not that the game is free. You spent your hard-earned money on the game. Turn out that the game pushed this nonsense that, in all fairness, by now gamers should always do their due diligence and research whether the game pushes an agenda or not before you buy the game. That's what I do. So if the game has alphabet nonsense, I do not buy the game. I don't buy the game, complain about the alphabet nonsense, and then try to fix the alphabet. I just simply don't buy it. But however, if you did not do your due diligence, you spent your hard-earned money on this game, the game pushed some political ideology that you don't like, you decide to mod it out. These people want to complain about you being sensitive. That doesn't make any sense, because the only reason that identity, that political nonsense is in the game in the first place, because these people were fragile and sensitive and claim to be offended and forced their way in. And now that they're in, they say, oh, how dare you change it? No, we're not moving, we're not changing. Yeah, because the high road has worked so well to suppress right-wing fascists spreading hate. Just ignore them and they'll go away, right? Here's the funny thing though, this is actually applicable to the so-called Democrats or tolerant or the progressives. Because what happened for decades is the normal people and the right wing just say, ignore the alphabet people and they'll go away. Because I remember back in the day, and this is when I actually stopped watching Angry Joe. I think it was Anita Sarkeesian when she was doing her nonsense. He put a video out and he was saying that they aren't taking away sexy women and how we are man children and blah blah blah. This is literally what's happening now. All of the gaming industry. So we took the high road and said, okay, there's no way this idea they can spread. This is obviously nonsense. And now in 2023, things have gotten so bad that people literally don't know what a woman is, and they think somehow that a sexual attraction that is biological or reproductively inert is normal. Well, unless the human race reproduced via binary fission in the last 5 years, that cannot be normal, because the human race will literally go extinct. Now this comment actually makes sense. I find it funny that they remove stuff like this for breaching their guidelines, but more that let you, okay, how do I say this on YouTube? More that let you exert your sexual interest in a dominant manner across Skyrim and unalive children is totally fine, which is a reasonable comparison. So this person, again, also makes sense. What about the mod that turn character alphabet? Like, I guess those are some characters in the game. Are those removed too, or are they just hypocrisy by the moderators? That's exactly what it is. There's no pretense about that. No hypocrisy either. Nexus mods have clearly taken a view that they're in favor of diversity and against normal people by removing mods that are anti-weirdo, and not removing mods that aren't is an entirely consistent position. And this person just completely missed the entire train, because this diversity is always funny. They will blame normal people for not wanting something or not being happy when something they dislike is in a game, right? And so, oh, you're against diversity. But these people who champion diversity never means something that they dislike. Isn't that funny? So they're asking you to accept something that you dislike, or else you hate diversity. But only thing that they like should be in the game. Another retard there. Imagine being so feeble, you build a mod to remove anything that upsets you. But the alphabet people are the snowflakes. This is some revisionist history and some gaslighting, because if the game didn't include you alphabet people literally whine, bitch and complain until you got your way in. And it was the normal people and the right wing unfortunately went the way of the overly sympathetic parent and say, okay, fine, when your child threw a temper tantrum, you give in to make the child stop throwing a temper tantrum. That's the wrong method. So they got their way with the temper tantrum, and now that you say, you know what, this behavior actually isn't good, they are trying to gaslight you into what they are and what they did to get the way in the first place. Now let's look at this one. So sure, one convert perspective in can't help but point out that being pro a subset of humanity is not somehow being equivalent to anti-subset of humanity. Being pro-trans is fine. No, it's not. You're destroying people's lives and making them a lifelong subscriber to the pharmaceutical industry. Being pro-alphabet is fine. No, it's not. Because you're ending your family line, you're making them more susceptible to HIV, and it just flat out just being weird. Being pro-ginger is fine. Now, what he's doing here is a false equivalency. He's trying to equate being the first two alphabets as being as insignificant and inconsequential as the color of one's hair. So he's saying be pro-ginger, pro-big old butts, pro-asexuality is fine. It's actually not fine, because humans don't reproduce via binary fission. Pro-blondes is fine, pro-furry is weird but fine. These are all arguments trying to downplay the difference and significance and disgustedness, quite frankly, of the alphabet thing compared to every other. These are tactics that they love to do. They put something you agree with something you disagree with right beside each other and say, see, these two are the same. And if you aren't careful, you will say, okay, well, I guess I'm right. Second, you're putting out content that's anti-someone, you're engaging in hate. And that's not really fine, so there's no hypocrisy here. You don't really care about any of that, do you? Because let's be honest here, you only create an account to make a point that you don't really enjoy all this alphabet nonsense. So, putting out content that's anti-someone is engaging in hate. And that's not really fine. Okay. Every comment, or the vast majority of comments thus far, are people putting out opinions and content that is anti-people who are not in support of alphabet. So, by them putting out content that is anti non-alphabet, but by his definition, that's engaging in hate. Now, that's not fine. So all these comments should be banned. And furthermore, let's look at anti-someone in particular. Trump. I've seen some truly absurd and reprehensible anti-Trump comments and narratives floating around in comment section. So is it okay now to engage in hatred when it comes to your political opposition? Because I don't hear these people talking about that you should not engage in hate when bashing Trump. So how does that work? So you can bash Trump, you can engage in hate when bashing Trump, but you can't engage in hate when bashing some fictional funny man character. This is a fictional situation. So you not being in support of a fictional situation is hatred, but you not being in support of an actual human being and trying to destroy the man's life and legacy, that's fine. These people can miss me with all this that is moral grandstanding. And then we have this now. So this person said that the nerd broke their terms of service. If someone makes mods to attack a minority, then Nexus mods doesn't have to host it. We don't owe these hate-filled dorks anything, and if they did willingly host this crap, it will look bad really bad on them. So they have to have rules to protect themselves and other people that will be affected by this childishness. Okay. Since when is turning a character from male to female attacking a minority? That's like saying that if, let's say, a black character, the army guy back in Halo 2, I think he was Master Chief Superior. Let's say there's a mod that turned him white. So, oh, you're attacking black people. I'm like, no, but I don't feel attacked right now. No. Nick Fury. Well, the Marvel's Nick Fury, because Nick Fury was white, but he turned him black, right? So if there's a mod that turned Marvel's Nick, the one based on Samuel L. Jackson, turned him white, is that attacking black people? Once again, if that were to happen, I'm like, I don't feel attacked right now. So to go so far to say that someone changing a character from male to female is attacking a minority, that seems like snowflake behavior. We are only in this position now where people do not understand the difference between male and female because you kept giving an inch and an inch and an inch, and you never stop to look at what the long-term implication of this can be. Once you normalize an abnormality in any fashion, that is like dividing by zero in maths. You can get some real stupid conclusions from that, and unless you break that rule, you will not be able to convince people that 2 isn't equal to 1. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to demonstrate this really quickly. The rule here in maths is that you can't divide by 0. Right? If you divide by 0, it's undefined, and 0 divided by 0 is indeterminate. So people might wrongfully say it's either 0 or 1. Both of those are incorrect, because if you say 0 divided by 0 is 1, you negate the law that says 0 divided by anything, any non-zero value is 0. And if you say 0 divided by 0 is 0, you negate the law that says that any non-zero divided by itself is equal to 1, right? So you can't pick either options. Now, let me show you what happens if you were to pick one. Let us say that x, as a matter of fact, where is it? All right, so let's do some maths. Right, let's say we start with let x equal y, right? We're going to multiply both sides by x, so we have x squared equal xy, right? We're now going to take y squared from both sides, so x squared minus y squared equal xy minus y squared. Now, if you aren't familiar with factorization, you can just do a quick video. But in factorization, we want to break up the term into 2 factors, right? So when we multiply those 2 factors, we get back the original term. X squared minus y squared is different than 2 squares, the factors of which are x plus y times x minus y. Now we can factor out y in the other on the right hand side. So this will be y equal x minus y, right? Now notice we have x minus y on both sides, so we can divide. Actually, let me just do this. So we can divide both sides by x minus y. Where's the division sign? Oh. Now when you divide both sides by x minus y, we cancel x minus y. X minus y, we cancel x minus y. So we're left with x plus y equals y. But we say that x is equal to y. So this is equal to y plus y equals y, which is 2y equals y. We can divide both sides by y. Let's do that. So we're dividing this by y, dividing this by y, y into y equal 1, so we get 2 equal 1. This is what happens when you accept a wrong premise, when you normalize an abnormality. And if you've never seen it before, you can pause it and then try to see exactly where we accepted the abnormality. When you transpose this into a when you transfer this into a social aspect now, this is what can happen. Once you accept an abnormality, you can have some very strange conclusions. And if people don't understand what that abnormality is, they will end up seeing a 2 equal 1. This is how we got to people not being able to identify male and female, people thinking alphabet is normal and that trans kids are a thing. All this nonsense came from us normalizing an abnormality.